Hello, I'm CJ Wellerman, and in this special report we explain what the outcome of India's election means for Muslims in India and Kashmir. But first, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. India's election results are now finalised, and here's the headline.
और इस पावन दिन एनडीए की लगातार तीसरी बार सरकार बननी तय है.
Yes, Narendra Modi, the butcher of Gujarat, has secured enough seats to commence his third five-year term, but with a reduced majority, having fallen well short of the landslide victory his Hindu Nationalist Party had predicted. This outcome decimates the mainstream perception of his invincibility and proves that democracy is alive and well in India, especially when you think about what his opposition had to overcome in coming so close to pulling off an unexpected victory. They had to overcome a huge money deficit, given Modi's party had 10 times the amount of cash as their political rivals, with Modi also having a subservient mainstream media at his back, along with the country's democratic institutions, including the judiciary and the Electoral Commission, which have been corrupted by BJP money and influence during the past decade of his rule. But to break down the result into a simple good news versus bad news binary, the good news is this result shows that fascism can be defeated at the ballot box, and if not today, then tomorrow. The bad news is more obvious. The man who incites genocide against Muslims remains in power for another 5 years, even if somewhat potentially constrained by the absence of an overall majority. The reality is Muslims remain terrified about the future, and maybe more so than any other time in the past, at least according to the dozen or so texts I've received from personal friends in India, who have urged me to convey their fears here. They believe, and maybe rightly, that Hindu nationalists will see this next period of Modi's rule as a now or never moment, which means he will push full steam ahead with his agenda of transforming India's secular democracy into a tyrannical Hindu theocracy, one in which Muslims are either expelled, killed, or made second-class citizens. And if we had learned anything from the past, it's that dictators and wannabe dictators are at their most dangerous against their perceived or imagined enemies when they appear wounded or at their weakest. Therefore, if Modi has learnt this lesson, and there's no reason to believe he hasn't, then he will become even more determined today than ever before to ram through more of his anti-Muslim policies and laws in a dictatorial fashion, given he will now believe his party's future rule is far from certain. His recent campaign speeches outline this roadmap, particularly those that refer to Muslims as infiltrators and baby-making machines who aim to steal the country's resources.
The earlier government said the Muslims will have the right over the resources of the country. What does this mean? This means they will gather all the wealth and give it to the people who have more children. They will distribute it among the infiltrators. Do you think your hard-earned money should be distributed to the infiltrators? Do you accept that?
It's therefore impossible to believe Modi's third term won't bring further hardship to Muslims in India and Kashmir. And it's also impossible to deny that the next 5 years won't be yet another period of living dangerously for 200 million followers of the Islamic faith. This much is certain. For starters, he will now implement his controversial citizenship law, which gives citizenship rights to refugees and migrants from neighbouring countries Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, but with one notable exception: Muslims. And he will also introduce a new common civil code for the country, which will strip religious minorities of their basic rights on such matters related to marriage, divorce and inheritance. These efforts will be coupled with propagandized efforts to falsely accuse Muslims of stealing land, jobs, economic benefits, media outlets and even history, and these claims will become even more strident and virulent. A few weeks ago, Modi even accused Muslims of secretly stealing voters from BJP by committing vote jihad. Yeah, it's totally bonkers, but you can't make this stuff up.
ने मुसलमानों से वोट जिहाद करने को कहा है. अब बताइए, हमने लव जिहाद सुना था, लैंड जिहाद सुना था, और वोट जिहाद.
There are also huge concerns for the well-being of 12 million Muslims who live under the brutal occupation of 1 million radicalized Indian soldiers in occupied Kashmir. Remembering that in 2019, Modi stripped the Muslim territory of its semi-autonomous status. And he has since put in place measures and mechanisms to expand and entrench India's settler colonial enterprise in Kashmir, mirroring the same strategies and tactics Israel has adopted in the occupied Palestinian territories for the past 50 years. And many also believe that Kashmir could potentially become the next Gaza, because the harder India pushes to transform the territory into a Hindu majority, the more resistance it will get from the indigenous Kashmiri Muslim population, ultimately leading to more conflict, notwithstanding the fact that Indian forces have happily killed more than 100,000 Muslims there since 1989. And it's also important you understand that India's Hindu nationalist movement threatens the well-being of Muslims far away from India's shores, and does so by covertly funneling money and resources into Hindufa groups throughout the diaspora. Groups such as RSS, VHP, Sewa International, Overseas Friends of BJP, and others have spread their tentacles into the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. And they aim to influence the politics of these countries in favour of the Hindu nationalist agenda, as we've reported extensively on this program for the past several years. But you can help counter these insidious and hateful groups by getting behind civil society organisations that are working hard to expose and counter the influence of Hindutva in the West. Groups such as the Alliance Against Islamophobia in Australia and the Indian American Muslim Council in the United States, both of whom have raised awareness among their respective communities and their respective media. The success of anti-Hindutva activism even gained the attention of popular satirical news commentator John Oliver, who ridiculed Modi's Hindu nationalist rule on his Emmy Award-winning show last week.
Basically, what we explained in those episodes is that Modi's party, the BJP, has a long history of espousing Hindu nationalism, essentially rejecting India's history as a pluralistic nation and trying to push it toward becoming an explicitly Hindu one. It's long been affiliated with a paramilitary group called the RSS, whose early leaders admired Hitler. And that, for the record, was the context for that joke. It was a pretty good Hitler joke. So good, in fact, I'm guessing even Hitler would have said, "Way to go, John." And please do not take that image out of context as well.
Look, I know all eyes are on Gaza at this moment, and rightly so, given 40,000 innocent Palestinians have been slaughtered during the past 8 months. But please, I urge you to keep a watchful eye on India and Kashmir. Yes, there's a genocide taking place in Palestine, but there's also the potential for an even greater one here, remembering that human rights groups have long warned that Muslims have been pushed to the brink of genocide by Modi and his Hindu nationalist party. Which is why we want to devote more time and resources to covering India during the coming year. So with that said, I kindly ask that you please consider supporting our effort to expose and counter injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member at patreon.com/CJWorleman. We need all the help we can get, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who support us. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.